Gloria Martinez stood before the iron gates as twilight settled over the city. Behind her, the bus stop where she'd kissed Emma, James, and Sarah goodbye still felt warm on her lips. 3 hungry children waiting in a cold apartment. Dinner tonight had been split pea soup stretched thin and stale bread from the discount bin. The mansion rose before her like something from another world. Every window glowed amber against the November darkness. She thought of her own apartment where the heat stayed off to save money, where her children slept 2 to a bed under every blanket they owned. In her coat pocket, 2 things pressed against her ribs: the bus fare home, exact change, nothing extra, and a business card from Marcus Webb, embossed and expensive, promising $2,000 now and 3 more later, all for a few photographs of documents. The service entrance buzzed. A woman in her 60s, gray hair pulled back efficiently, opened the door. "You're Gloria, I'm Mrs. Chen, household manager. Come in from the cold." Warmth hit Gloria's face like a blessing. The kitchen smelled of roasted chicken and fresh bread. Her stomach twisted. "Mr. Thornton values discretion above all else," Mrs. Chen said, leading her through hallways lined with dark wood and oil paintings. "You'll work evenings mostly. He keeps late hours at the office, so you'll have the house to yourself. His study especially needs attention." The study door opened onto leather and mahogany. A massive desk commanded the room. Filing cabinets lined one wall. Through the window, the city lights spread like scattered diamonds. "He keeps important papers here," Mrs. Chen continued. "Business documents." "You understand total privacy required?" Gloria nodded. Webb had been very specific. Thornton Shipping's expansion plans, Portland contracts. The filing cabinets would hold everything his competitor needed. Mrs. Chen handed her cleaning supplies and left. Gloria stood alone in the study, supplies heavy in her hands. She moved to the window and caught her reflection in the darkening glass. Hollow eyes, sharp cheekbones, a stranger wearing her dead husband's wedding ring. She thought of Webb's money, $5,000 total. Enough to feed her children for months. Winter coats for Emma and James. Medicine for Sarah's asthma. Maybe even a payment toward the mountain of medical bills that kept David's ghost alive in her mailbox. Her phone buzzed. A text from her neighbor watching the kids. Emma asking when you'll be home. They're hungry again. Gloria's hand found the filing cabinet handle. Cool metal against her palm. She pulled gently, locked. But the key hung on a hook by the door. Obvious. Trusting. She looked at her reflection again. The desperate woman in the glass looked back. Not tonight, Gloria thought. Maybe tomorrow. But not tonight. She picked up the dust cloth and began to clean. 2 weeks passed in careful rhythm. Gloria arrived at 6 each evening. Mrs. Chen left her a list and departed by 7. The mansion settled into silence, broken only by Gloria's movements and the old house breathing. She learned its patterns. The creak of the 3rd stair. The way lamplight pooled in the hallway. The smell of lemon oil on old wood. She cleaned every room except Mr. Thornton's bedroom, which remained closed. The man himself appeared rarely. Tall, silver-haired, expensive suits that probably cost more than her monthly rent. He nodded politely when their paths crossed, asked if she needed anything. His voice carried the weight of someone used to being obeyed. "You're doing excellent work," he said once, surprising her in the library. "Mrs. Chen mentioned you're very thorough." "Thank you, sir." "Please, call me Robert." He smiled briefly. "We're not that formal here." But they were. Gloria saw it in every room. No family photographs. No personal touches. Just business journals and shipping manifests. A man who'd built an empire but lived in elegant isolation. On Tuesday of the 3rd week, Mrs. Chen left early. "Family emergency," she explained, already pulling on her coat. "Mr. Thornton is working late in his study. Just knock before you go in." Gloria waited until 8. Then she moved quietly down the hall. The study door stood half open. Through the gap, she watched Robert bent over his desk, reviewing documents. Even from this angle, She could read the header confidential, Portland expansion. Her phone vibrated. Webb's text glowed in the dim hallway. Any progress? Your rent is due soon, isn't it? Her hands shook. Robert gathered the documents, locked them in the filing cabinet, and left through the far door. The key remained on its hook, the room empty. Gloria stepped inside. Her reflection stared back from the darkened window. She could photograph everything right now. Webb would have his intelligence. She'd have his money. She thought of Emma trying to make dinner last night. Peanut butter sandwiches again because that's all they had. James wearing shoes with the toes cut out because he'd outgrown them months ago. Sarah asking, "Is the nice house warm? Mama?" The contrast burned. Robert's unused guest rooms versus her children sleeping two to a bed. His wine cellar versus her empty refrigerator. Gloria's mother's voice echoed from childhood. Your father worked honest all his life. We were poor, mija, but we were never thieves. She backed out of the study. Started cleaning the library instead. Her hands moved automatically, dusting shelves she couldn't afford to fill with books her children couldn't afford to read. When Robert returned an hour later, she was scrubbing the kitchen sink. Still here? He asked, loosening his tie. You work too hard. Just being thorough, sir. He studied her for a moment. You have children. Mrs. Chen mentioned 3. Emma's 8. James is 6. Sarah just turned 4. That must be difficult. Something shifted in his expression. On one income. Gloria nodded, not trusting her voice. Well, good night then. He disappeared upstairs. Gloria finished cleaning and caught the last bus home. Emma had fallen asleep at the kitchen table. Crayon drawings scattered around her. James and Sarah were already in bed. The apartment felt like ice. She counted the money in her purse. $17 until next week's pay. Webb's business card seemed to pulse in her pocket. Gloria couldn't sleep. She lay in the darkness listening to her daughters breathe. Emma stirred, murmuring something about school supplies she needed. They'd sent another note home. $15 for art materials. Might as well have been $1,500. She thought about David. 18 months gone and still everywhere. His coffee mug she couldn't throw away. His jacket hanging in the closet. The medical bills that arrived like clockwork. Each one a reminder of how she'd failed to save him. The cancer had come fast and brutal. Stage 4 by the time they caught it. She'd worked 3 jobs trying to keep up with treatments. Sold the car. Emptied their savings. Borrowed from everyone who'd lend. None of it mattered. He died anyway. His last night in the hospital came back in fragments. His hand cold in hers. Emma crying in the hallway. The machines beeping their steady countdown. Don't let this break you, David had whispered. You're stronger than you know. And Gloria, stay who you are. Promise me. I promise. No matter how hard it gets, stay who you are. She'd kept that promise for 18 months. Worked honest, raised their children right, taught them that integrity mattered, that you didn't take what wasn't yours no matter how hungry you got. But David hadn't known about Emma getting sick last month, about choosing between the doctor and groceries, about her daughter's fever climbing while Gloria counted change. She'd chosen the doctor. Her children had gone hungry. He hadn't known how it felt to watch your babies suffer while you cleaned a rich man's house. Friday night. Mrs. Chen had the weekend off. Robert was away at a business conference. The mansion stood empty except for Gloria and her conscience. She stood in the study at midnight. The filing cabinet key hung on its hook. 3 feet away. Her phone had a camera. Webb had promised money. Her children had nothing. This was it. The moment Webb had paid for. The moment she'd been dancing around for 3 weeks. Point of no return. Gloria reached for the key. Her hand trembled. She thought of Emma's face when the food ran out, James's ruined shoes, Sarah asking when they could have meat again. She thought of her reflection in that darkened window 3 weeks ago. A stranger contemplating theft. David's voice filled her head. Stay who you are. Aye, but who was she? A dead man's widow. A desperate mother. Someone so beaten down that theft seemed reasonable. Gloria's fingers touched the key. Cold metal. Easy. Just take it. Open the cabinet. Photograph the documents. Text Webb. Pick up the money tomorrow. Feed her children. She closed her hand around the key. Then she let go. Not tonight. Not like this. Not yet. She left the study and went home to her hungry children. December arrived with the first snow. Gloria watched it fall through the bus window. Each flake another reminder of coats her children needed. Emma's had ripped last week. James wore his too small jacket without complaining. Sarah didn't have one at all. Webb's pressure increased daily. Texts, calls, veiled references to her children's school. Nice elementary on Parker Street. Must be good having them so close, you know, in a safe neighborhood. Not quite a threat. Close enough. At the mansion, something shifted. Robert started working from home more often. He'd appear in rooms where Gloria cleaned, making conversation. Small talk at first, weather, traffic, then deeper. "You remind me of my mother," he said one evening, watching her straighten his bookshelves. "She worked 3 jobs after my father lost everything. Kept us fed. Kept us honest. Never complained." "That must have been hard," Gloria said. "It was. But she never lost herself." He paused. "Some people break under pressure. She bent. There's a difference." Gloria's throat tightened. She focused on the books. Mrs. Chen started leaving extra food. "Oh, I made too much again," she'd say. "Packing containers. Would be a shame to waste it. You take it home to those children." Gloria knew it wasn't accident. The kindness made everything harder. Tuesday afternoon. Robert called her into his study. Her heart stopped. Had he discovered Webb's scheme? Was she being fired? "Sit, please," he said. Gloria perched on the edge of a leather chair. "Mrs. Chen tells me you're doing exceptional work. I wanted to thank you personally." He slid an envelope across the desk. "Company policy. Winter bonuses for household staff." Gloria opened it with shaking hands. $500. "Sir, this is fair compensation. You work hard, you're reliable, and frankly," he smiled slightly, "the house has never been cleaner." The money was a miracle. Not enough to solve everything, but enough to breathe. New coat for Emma. Medicine for Sarah. The electric bill. That night. Gloria stared at the check. Robert didn't know she was Webb's spy. He didn't know she'd been sent to betray him. He just saw need and responded with quiet generosity. How could she repay kindness with treachery? But Webb called Thursday. His voice had lost its polished edge. "Gloria, we're running out of time. I need those documents before Christmas or the deal's off. And listen, I'd hate to see anything happen to your employment situation. You understand?" "I understand." "Good, because I know people at that school. Would be a shame if questions came up about your fitness as a mother. Child Services gets nervous about poverty cases." The line went dead. Gloria sat in her dark apartment. Bonus check on the table. Webb's threat hanging in the air. Emma slept with her math book under her pillow, studying even in dreams. James had stopped asking for things. Sarah drew pictures of houses with chimneys smoking, families inside. Robert had given her breathing room. Webb was threatening to take away her air. The study key hung in her mind. Always visible. Always waiting. Saturday brought heavy snow. The city shut down under 12 inches. Gloria called the mansion, expecting Mrs. Chen to tell her to stay home. "Mr. Thornton says come if you can." Mrs. Chen reported, "He's working here today. Says he'll pay cab fare both ways." The mansion felt different in daylight, warmer somehow. Robert worked in his study, door open, classical music playing softly. Gloria cleaned the library, hyper-aware of his presence. "Coffee." he called. She made a pot, brought him a cup. Join me, he said. Please. I've been alone with spreadsheets for 4 hours. I need human conversation. Gloria hesitated, then sat. The leather chair felt like luxury. Tell me about your children, Robert said. Mrs. Chen speaks highly of them. Does she? She saw Emma once when you had to bring her along. Said she was polite, well-mannered, clearly loved. Gloria's eyes burned. I try my best. I'm sure you do. It can't be easy. He paused. If you don't mind me asking, their father. Cancer, 18 months ago. I'm sorry. The words sounded genuine. Medical bills. Yes. He nodded. They sat in comfortable silence. Snow fell beyond the windows, muffling the world. Can I tell you something? Robert said finally. My father lost everything to a dishonest business partner. Man he trusted for 20 years. They were building an import company together. One day, my father discovered his partner had been selling information to competitors. Stealing their expansion plans bankrupted them both. Gloria's blood went cold. My father never recovered, died bitter, but he taught me something crucial before he went. Robert looked at her directly. Trust is the only currency that matters in business. Without it, you're just moving money around, building nothing real. I've built Thornton Shipping on that principle. Fair dealing, honest partnerships. People know my word is good. That's admirable, Gloria whispered. It's survival, in a world where everyone's looking for an angle. Being the one person who doesn't have one that's power. He smiled. Sorry, I don't usually philosophize over coffee. You're easy to talk to. Her phone buzzed. Webb. She silenced it. Emergency? Robert asked. No, just someone who can wait. They talked for another hour. About his mother who'd worked herself to exhaustion. About Gloria's childhood. About Emma's dreams of being a teacher. About how Sarah loved to draw. When Gloria left that evening, Robert insisted she take extra food. Mrs. Chen made enough to feed an army. Your children should have it. On the bus home, Gloria stared at her reflection in the dark window. Webb called twice. She didn't answer. That night, Emma asked, Mama, why do you look sad? I'm not sad, baby. You look like you're carrying something heavy. Gloria held her daughter close. Sometimes grown-ups have to make hard choices. What kind of choices? The kind that show what kind of person you are. Emma frowned. Thinking. Grandma used to say we're all writing our own story. Every choice is a sentence. What story do you want to tell? Mama. Gloria's breath caught. Her mother's words in her daughter's voice. What story was she writing? The one where hunger justified theft. Where desperation erased integrity. Where? She taught her children that principles died when circumstances got hard. Webb called again at midnight. This time, Gloria answered, Finally, I was starting to worry about you. I need more time. Time is what you don't have. Friday deadline. Gloria. Documents or consequences, your choice. He hung up. Gloria looked at Emma's drawing on the refrigerator. A house with a family inside. All of them smiling. Stay who you are, David's voice whispered. But staying herself might mean losing everything. Monday morning brought 3 disasters. Emma's school sent another notice. $15 for art supplies. $20 for the field trip. If Gloria couldn't pay, Emma couldn't participate. Her daughter's face crumpled reading it. It's okay. Mama, I don't need to go. Yes, you do, Gloria said, but she had no idea how. James came home limping. His 2 small shoes had given him blisters. Gloria looked at his feet and wanted to scream. 8 years old and walking wounded because she couldn't afford $20 sneakers. Then the eviction notice arrived. Bright yellow paper, official seal. Impossible words. Pay full back rent within 30 days or vacate premises. Gloria calculated. 3 months behind, $1,900, plus this month's rent, $2,500 total. She had $400 in the bank after Robert's bonus. She sat on the floor and let the papers scatter around her. The apartment was cold. The refrigerator nearly empty. Her children needed everything and she had nothing. Webb's offer blazed in her mind. $5,000. Every problem solved. Emma could go on her field trip. James could have shoes that fit. Sarah could have medicine. They could stay in their home. One betrayal. One envelope of photographs. One night's work. That evening at the mansion, Robert worked late. Gloria heard his voice through the study door. A phone call. Speaker on. Tom, I need you to understand something. Robert said, this Portland expansion isn't about profit margins. It's about jobs. 200 families depend on this contract. If we lose it, those people lose their livelihoods. I won't let that happen. There are rumors of a leak, the lawyer replied. Someone's trying to undercut our bid. Then we'll deal with it, but we deal honestly. I won't compromise our ethics to win a contract. If someone's trying to steal our plans, let them. Our integrity is worth more than any expansion. Gloria pressed her back against the wall. 200 families, just like hers. Just like the families David's death had left struggling. If Webb got those documents, Robert wouldn't just lose a contract. 200 people would lose everything. She'd become the weapon Webb wielded against the innocent. That night, Sarah showed Gloria a crayon drawing. Our new house, she said proudly, with a garden and a dog and flowers everywhere. It's beautiful. Baby. When can we move there? Gloria couldn't answer. She held Sarah close and felt the future collapsing. Wednesday. James's cold worsened, fever climbing. He needed medicine she couldn't afford. The free clinic was closed until Monday. She gave him children's aspirin and prayer. Thursday. Webb's deadline arrived by text. Tomorrow night. Final offer. Documents or you're done. And Gloria. I meant what I said about child services. Poverty is neglect in the right light. Think about it. Gloria thought about it. She thought about losing her children to the system. She thought about Emma, James, and Sarah in foster care because their mother chose honor over survival. She thought about 200 families losing their jobs because she wouldn't stop Webb. She thought about Robert's words. Trust is the only currency that matters. She thought about David. Stay who you are. Friday night came like judgment. Mrs. Chen left early. Robert worked late at the office. The mansion stood empty and waiting. Gloria stood in the study. Filing cabinet, key, documents. Her phone's camera. $5,000 between her and disaster. The choice had finally arrived. Gloria stood before the filing cabinet for an hour. Just stood. Breathing. Thinking. Breaking. The key hung on its hook. 3 steps away. Might as well have been 3 miles. She thought through the mechanics. Unlock cabinet. Remove documents. Photograph each page. Replace everything. Text Webb. Pick up money tomorrow. Feed her children. Pay the rent. Save her family. Simple. Clean. Criminal. Her legs gave out. She sank to the floor, back against Robert's desk. The carpet smelled of lemon oil. Her hands shook. Then her whole body. Gloria wept, silently, desperately, completely. She pressed her fist against her mouth to muffle the sounds. Her children were hungry. Her children were cold. Her children were going to be homeless. And she was sitting on a rich man's floor, refusing to take what could save them. Was integrity worth starvation? Was honor worth watching your daughter go without shoes? What good was being right if it destroyed your family? She imagined explaining to Emma why they had to leave their apartment. Mama could have stolen some papers but decided not to. How would that sound to an 8-year-old sleeping in a shelter? David's voice tried to reach her. Stay. Who you are. But who was she? A fool? A failure? A mother so proud she'd let her baby suffer? Gloria lifted her head. Tears blurred her vision. She looked around Robert's study. The leather chairs, the expensive books, the art on the walls, the filing cabinet full of secrets worth thousands. Her gaze fell on his desk. A framed quote she'd dusted 100 times without really reading. The measure of a man is what he does. When no one is watching. The words hit her like light breaking. No one was watching. Robert didn't know she was here. Webb would never know she'd refused. Her children would never know what she'd almost done. This moment was hers alone. The truest test of character. What she chose when no one could see. If she took the money. She didn't save her children from poverty. She taught them that hunger justified dishonor. That desperation erased principles. That when life got hard enough, you became someone you despised. She'd been asking the wrong question. Not, can I afford integrity? But can I afford to lose it? Because if she lost it, if she crossed this line, she might gain $5,000, but she'd lose Gloria Martinez. The woman David loved. The woman her mother raised. The woman her children believed in. Webb wasn't offering salvation. He was offering damnation. Gloria stood, wiped her face. Her legs felt steadier than they had in weeks. She would tell Robert everything. The plot. Webb's scheme. Her own desperate temptation. She would lose this job. Her children would suffer more. But they would have a mother who was not a thief. They would have a mother who kept her promises to their father. Gloria took one last look at the filing cabinet, at the key that could have solved everything, at the documents that could have bought her family's survival. Then she walked out of the study, leaving it all untouched. Tomorrow she would confess. Tomorrow she would face the consequences. Tomorrow she would be unemployed and desperate, but she would be herself. She caught her reflection in the hallway mirror, tear-stained, exhausted, dignified. I kept my promise. David, she whispered, I stayed who I am. The empty mansion heard her. The walls held her secret. No one was watching, but Gloria knew, and that was enough. Saturday morning, Gloria called the mansion. Mrs. Chen answered, I need to speak with Mr. Thornton, in person. It's important. Is everything all right? No, but it will be. Is he available? Silence. Then. He says come now. He'll be in his study. The bus ride felt eternal. Gloria rehearsed the words, practiced the confession. There was no good way to say it. She'd just have to speak the truth and accept the consequences. Robert waited at the service entrance. His expression was unreadable. Mrs. Chen said it was urgent. Yes, sir. Can we talk in your study? He led her through the house. The study felt different in morning light. Less fortress, more confessional. Sit, please, Robert said. Gloria remained standing. I'd rather do this on my feet. All right. She took a breath. Then she told him everything. Marcus Webb approaching her 6 weeks ago. The offer of $5,000 for photographs of expansion documents, her desperate situation, the weeks of temptation, how close she'd come to betraying him, last night's breakdown on his study floor, her decision to confess. Robert listened without interruption. His face revealed nothing. When she finished, silence filled the room like water rising. Finally, Robert spoke. Why tell me you could have simply walked away, claimed you couldn't access the information, disappeared? Because theft is theft, whether you're rich or poor. Gloria said, because my children are watching who I become. Because you trusted me. You gave me a bonus when I needed it. You talked to me like a person, not just an employee. I won't repay trust with betrayal, no matter the cost. You understand you've destroyed your only income that Webb will make good on his threats. Yes, sir. And you told me anyway. Yes, sir. Robert stood, walked to the window, looked out at the snowy garden. Gloria waited for the words. You're fired. Get out. I'm calling the police. Instead, he said. Thank you. Gloria blinked. Sir, you saved my company. If Webb had gotten those documents, we'd have lost the Portland contract. 200 jobs gone. Years of work destroyed. He turned to face her. More than that, you've restored something I'd stopped believing in. Proof that integrity still exists. That some people can't be bought. I don't want thanks. I had to tell you. I know. That's what makes it remarkable. Robert returned to his desk, picked up his phone. I'm calling my lawyer. Webb needs to be dealt with. Then I'm calling my accountant. Why? Because I need to understand your situation completely. Before we discuss next steps, Gloria's throat tightened. There's nothing to discuss. I came to confess, not to beg. I'm not offering charity. I'm offering fairness. He dialed. Sit. Please. This will take a few minutes. She sat. Robert made his calls. Precise questions about legal ramifications. Then detailed questions about medical debt, eviction proceedings, bankruptcy law. Gloria watched him work. This man she'd almost betrayed. After 20 minutes. He hung up, looked at her with something like wonder. Half the profits from the Portland expansion. For the next 5 years, it's yours. Gloria stared. I don't understand. You saved the company. You deserve compensation. No. The word came out hard. Absolutely not. I didn't tell you to get paid. I told you because it was right. Robert smiled. The first genuine smile she'd seen. Then we negotiate. They talked for an hour. Gloria refused extravagance, insisted on dignity. Finally. They reached terms. Household manager position Mrs. Chen was retiring. Fair salary, health insurance, help with back rent. Educational fund for her children. Not charity. Partnership. Why are you doing this? Gloria asked. Because in 30 years of business, I've never met anyone who chose integrity over survival. You're priceless, Gloria, and priceless things deserve to be protected. She wiped her eyes. I don't know what to say. Say you'll start Monday. Spring arrived gently. The snow melted. Gardens woke. Gloria watched crocuses push through cold earth and thought about resurrections. Mrs. Chen retired in February with a party and tears. Gloria took over household management. The transition felt natural. The mansion had become familiar territory, its halls no longer foreign. March brought the first warm day. Robert suggested Gloria's children use the garden. It's wasted space otherwise. Let them play. Emma, James, and Sarah arrived that Saturday like spring themselves, bright, laughing, free. They explored the grounds with wonder. Sarah found the flower beds and declared them magic gardens. Gloria watched from the kitchen window. Robert appeared beside her, coffee in hand. They're beautiful children, he said. Thank you. Emma looks like you. Same eyes, same determination. She wants to be a teacher. She will be, with the education fund. She can be anything she wants. They stood in comfortable silence, outside. James kicked a ball across the lawn. Sarah chased butterflies. Emma sat reading under a tree. I've been thinking about partnerships. Robert said, how the best ones are built on mutual respect, not just mutual profit. How trust is the foundation. How some things can't be bought. Some things are priceless. Gloria agreed. Exactly. He paused. I was very alone before you came. Built a company but forgot to build a life. You've reminded me what matters. Gloria thought about November, the iron gates, the desperate woman contemplating theft, how far she'd come, how close she'd been to losing everything that mattered. I almost failed, she said quietly. That night in your study, I almost took the key. But you didn't. I wanted to. The temptation was, she couldn't finish. I know. That's what makes your choice powerful. You wanted it. You needed it desperately. And you still walked away. Robert turned to her. Do you know how rare that is in my business? Everyone has a price. Everyone. Except you. I had a price. I was just too stubborn to pay it. No. You understood the cost was too high. There's a difference. Outside, Sarah ran toward the house. Mama, Mr. Robert, come see the roses are blooming. They went into the garden. Sarah led them to the rose beds, pink buds opening to sunshine. Can I pick one for Emma? Of course, Robert said. Pick as many as you like. This is your garden now, too. Sarah gathered roses with serious concentration. James joined her. Emma looked up from her book. This is nice, Mama. Emma said, being here, having enough, not worrying all the time. I know. Baby. You look different now, lighter, like you're not carrying that heavy thing anymore. Gloria met Robert's eyes. He smiled. She smiled back. I'm not. Gloria said. I put it down. That evening, after the children left, Gloria stood at the study window. The same window where she'd seen her desperate reflection 6 months ago. The same glass that had shown her a stranger contemplating theft. Now she saw someone else. A woman who'd been tested and survived. Who'd chosen integrity over survival and found both. Who'd kept her promise to a dead husband and saved herself in the process. The garden bloomed beyond the glass. The gates stood open. Her children were safe. The future was possible. Stay who you are. David had said. She had. And in staying herself, she'd become more than she'd imagined. Robert appeared in the doorway. Forgot to tell you, we got the Portland contract. 200 families will keep their jobs because of you. Because I didn't steal your documents. Because you proved that honor matters. That some people still have principles. The board was impressed. Apparently word got around. Gloria smiled. Good. There's more. They want to create a scholarship. For children of single parents facing economic hardship. They asked what we should call it. What did you say, the David Martinez Memorial Scholarship? If that's all right with you. But Gloria's vision blurred. It's perfect. I thought so. They stood together in the study where everything had almost gone wrong. Where Gloria had faced her darkest moment and found her truest self. Where winter had turned to spring. Outside, the garden waited. The roses bloomed. The gates remained open. Inside, Gloria finally felt at home.